Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with another edition of AzChats. Yay! Now then, if you're unfamiliar with AzChats, these videos are more podcasty videos as opposed to visual videos, but I do now put something for your eyes to orgasm over if you are insistent on sitting by your PC while watching this video. Otherwise, normal rules apply. You don't have to be sat here, you can be away from your screen, just crank up the volume and you will get as much out of this video audibly as you would visually. Okay, so they're the rules of AzChats. We've got that over and done with. Today's topic of AzChats, I'm going to get just stuck straight into the topic. Normally I procrastinate. I will be procrastinating, do not worry. But normally I procrastinate before I get to the topic. But this time I'm just going to go balls deep and tell you exactly what's going to happen. And as ever, before I do though, maybe just a teensy-wincy bit of procrastination. AzChats sometimes gets a little bit excitable. So there may be the odd bit of fruity language here or there. There we go. So today we're going to be discussing Warlords of Draenor release date. It comes out tomorrow. Not the game. Not the expansion. Don't everyone go, what? What? No. The release date for Warlords of Draenor comes out tomorrow. And I'm going to play the speculate game. And I'm going to try and pinpoint when I believe they are going to announce its release, okay? Now that's, well, quite a difficult thing to do, but what I'm attempting to base it on is I'm attempting to base it on the beta. And the information which has been provided to me by how the beta is going, what kind of level of testing we're up to, Blizzard's past habits, and also events which may be surrounding the World of Warcraft. Woo! It sounds dead sophisticated like, innit? But really, I'm just going to have a guess. just going to have a guess. Now, of course, tomorrow isn't just the announcement of the release date, the official release date for Warlords of Draenor. We are also going to get our first look at the opening cinematic for Warlords of Draenor. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever it's going to be fantastic. One thing Blizzard do not ever, and I mean ever, fail at is producing an amazing cinematic. These boys and girls create the most astounding cutscenes. Tomorrow I expect Warlords of Draenor to be zero different. I expect it to be spectacular. I expect myself to be hyped after watching it. I expect myself to be orgasmic after rewatching it. And, you know, I'm pretty darn sure it's going to get all my World of Warcraft juices flowing, and will just make me go for Warlords of Draenor, which I've got to say, having played the beta, I am currently impressed with. Absolutely impressed with, especially after in my eyes, the vast disappointment of Miss Pandaria. And again, the disappointment, I won't say vast disappointment because I didn't like certain aspects of Cataclysm when I played. I didn't play half of it, though. I just left because I was bored off my tits. But when I did come back and I had something to do, I did like certain aspects of it. So I won't call Cataclysm, in my eyes, a complete and utter failure. But it was disappointing faux shizzle. We'll put at least that way. Faux shizzle. Now, I will now do a little bit of background. This is where I am going to procrastinate. So I'm going to do a little bit of background before I get into the nooks and crannies of the date and why I think so. Because I think we need to have a bit of build-up. We've got to have some foreplay. It's not an AzChats unless we have some foreplay, people. So let's have some foreplay. I'll bring the lube. You bring the Debbie Does Dallas. So first things first. World of Warcraft is in difficulty at the moment. I know a lot of people going, ha, no it isn't. Yes it is. It really, really is. And this is what a lot of people don't quite understand. They just look at a bottom line number and they think, well, that's better than everyone else. WoW's doing great. So just to kind of flesh that out, World of Warcraft started the life of Mr. Pandaria at 10 million subscribers. Okay, that's September 2012. 10 million subscribers subscribed to the World of Warcraft. It goes up 0.9 million from the end of Cataclysm, which ended on 9.1 theoretically, although theoretically you could say it ended on 10 mil, because that's where the next one ended. But, you know, obviously it's the leap up of the hype for the new expansion. So it started on a healthy number. I think Cataclysm started with 12.2 million, something like that. So from 12.2 million, finishing on around 9.1 to 10 million. But it started off in a very healthy position. 10 million subscribers, a little under, I should say, 2 years ago. That current number is 6.8. 6.8. Now, this is where we get to the point where people go, yeah, but 6.8 is still a lot more than every other MMO out there. And, sorry, I really should put the tag RPG, because there are many MMOs that have substantially more players than World of Warcraft. But, you know, they might go, oh, yeah, but there's no other MMO RPG that can touch WoW. That is correct, and you are correct. But you are wrong in your assumption that WoW is fine. It is far from fine. To lose a third of your subscription base, this is 1 in 3 people. If you lose a third of your subscription base over the life of an expansion, that is not a good trend. Because, like everything, when a game starts to decline, other people jump onto the declining bandwagons. Oh, they're leaving. Oh, my friend's leaving. Oh, I might as well leave then. You know, this is what happens. I played World of Warcraft with a group of friends many years ago. Well, I say many years ago. Let's just say the beginning of Mr. Pandaria. There was myself, AzChats. There was my healer friend, Monkey Ball. There was my Reti Paladin friend, Camel Toast. There was my hunter friend, Powercorn. Just to name 4 of us. The 4 Musketeers. The 3 Musketeers and D'Artagnan. The 4 Musketeers. And I am the last person standing, and I say this many, many times, I'm only standing because I do WoW stuff on my channel. If I was to make a decision about playing Mr. Pandaria, and if I wasn't doing my YouTube, if I was just Joe Public again, back in an office, working 9 to 5, for the man, God damn the man, then I wouldn't be playing Mists. I would not. I wouldn't be subscribed, and it would be all 4 of us, 3 strikes now. I'd be gone. All my mates are gone. They've given up. I would be gone too. I wouldn't be playing it. I wouldn't be paying to play it. I would not. I don't think it's good enough to demand a subscription fee. And more worrying trends, excuse me, are the games which are surrounding it. For instance, Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm only using subscription-based MMORPGs here as an example, not free to play. Final Fantasy XIV, the last time they posted subscription numbers was over 2 million subscribers. So again, people are going to go, that's less than a third of WoW. Doesn't matter. You see, that is on the up. You see, when Square Enix released Final Fantasy XIV, the original version, back in 2010, it was a piece of dog shit. Honest to God, it's the only way that I can describe it. I'm not being nasty either. It's not being nasty, it's not being provocative, it's just a simple fact. It was utter, unmitigated dog shit. By far the worst game I'd ever played in my life. So easily by that benchmark, the worst MMORPG I'd ever played in my life. It was abysmal. How it saw the light of day was outstandingly amazing. That decision call. Anyway, Square made some really tough choices quickly. And I've got to say, I'm a big fan of Square. I really am. I'm a massive fan of Square Enix. Big supporter of the company. And I was amazed at how quickly they moved into action. I mean, literally within a couple of weeks of Final Fantasy XIV, the 2010, I'm not talking about the reborn version here, I'm talking about the original version here. Within a couple of weeks it being launched, the head of the goddamn company emailed every subscriber. You know, suddenly I got this email from the head of Square Enix apologising for this dog shit. I mean, obviously they can't say dog shit, but if we were to read between the lines, and if we were to just to knock off all the rhetoric and the bullshit, he was basically saying, we are really sorry, this is shit, innit? And he did. That's what they said. They said, look, we're not going to charge you a sub fee. We're not going to... This game is not right. And we are so sorry. We are really, really sorry. So we're going to stop the sub fee. Don't worry, after the 30 days are up, you're not going to get charged any. And we are looking to rectify matters. And then we got more emails from him in the recent future. They sacked everyone. They sacked the whole team. They just went, right, you off, out. Got rid of everyone. Got a brand new team in to try and work on Final Fantasy XIV. And this team that came in, the head guy, I can't remember the name. I'd have to look up the name. Obviously, it's Japanese, so you must forgive me. But ultimately, he tried to fix it, and clearly behind the scenes went to Square and said, I need to remake this game. Legitimately, I can't fix this crap. I need to remake this game. And Square made the unbelievable call, and God bless them for doing it. It astounds me today. Astounds me that they went, yes. Because one of the things that he needed to do in Build a New Game was to have a new engine. He said, this engine is not up to it as well. I needed to build a new... So that they had to get a new engine and design a new game. And so, after a substantial period of the game being free to play, it got pulled. They pulled it down. The whole job lot. And the guys started to get to work and they rebuilt it. And then it was going to be relaunched as Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. So they tied off the current expansion. We'll call it an expansion instead of a game, because they tied up the end of the expansion, pretty much destroyed the world, and then went to rebuild it. And it, when it was ready to come to kind of like release territory, I got involved in testing it because I had subscribed, so I got involved in beta testing it. And I thought it was pretty decent. And I did a little bit of testing. I thought, okay, it's not wonderful, but it's okay. And then I left the testing, and then I returned to the testing later on, and it was awesome. When I returned back to it, it's just like, wow, this is really, really good. And Square envisioned that when they were going to re-release Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, they were expecting along the lines of 500,000 people returning to the game. 1.5 million people resubscribed. 3 times as many as they had expected. They were absolutely swamped. The servers kept falling down. There wasn't enough to cope. But that was the only thing that was wrong with the relaunch. They just didn't envisage the amount of people who supported Final Fantasy, supported Square, and were willing to give you a go. You say this game's good, we are willing to give you a go. And anyone that had purchased the original game, I believe, got something like 14 days free anyway. And then if you purchased the new game outright, you got a 30-day subscription with it. So it ended up, if you had bought the original, you got some like 45 days free. Something like that. So there was lots for people to get their teeth into, whether they bought the new version or just went back for the free 2 weeks, and 1.5 million, 3 times as many. But they got onto the server issue quickly. They started putting a lot more servers up, yada, 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 yada. And then it's moved from 1.5 million to 2 million. This is a game on the up and up. And not only that, not only are the numbers going up for this title, but fiscally, it's actually put Square Enix back in profit. It's an unmitigated success. Unmitigated success for Square. And not only that, they are supporting the balls out of it. Absolutely supporting the balls out of it. You are never short of something to do in that game. Never short. And my regret is I simply don't have enough time to play it. That is my regret at the moment. Is I would love to be playing this title and I barely get to play it because of just my commitments to do my WoW stuff and my streaming and my things like that, which breaks my heart a little bit because I was really liking it. But now I've got so much content to go back to, I'm going to be well behind. when I eventually do, because I will resubscribe and I will have another crack at it. But if it's a title that you've not checked out, I would highly recommend doing so. Highly recommended doing so. I'd class it as kind of like an old school MMORPG in as much as it's tough. You know, it's not pay to win, or all that kind of jazz. You know, it's not like, oh, you want something, there you go. Minimal fuss, there you go. No, you got to earn your shit. You got to earn your shit in that game. And they're unapologetic about it, and the content's tough, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's a game that's on the up and up. Yes, it has less than a third of subscribers of World of Warcraft, but it's going in the right direction. Another MMORPG which is not going in the right direction, regardless of how they want to spin stuff, is Elder Scrolls Online. Now, these guys, made by ZeniMax Online and not Bethesda, and I am a massive Bethesda fan. Well, I was a massive Bethesda fan. I am a massive fan of Bethesda when they make their own games. I am not a massive fan of Bethesda when they publish games, because the games that they publish tend to be shit, and the games that they make tend to be amazing. So they kind of, I don't know, to be perfectly honest, sort of tarnish their own reputation by this publishing malarkey. Just stick to what you know. Make your games, publish your games, keep your reputation maxed out. But don't stick your name on all manner of shit, Bethesda. It's not good stuff. It really isn't good stuff. But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online. They have not released official subscription numbers. But one website did a very cool thing. And what they did is they used the financial report to work out how many subscribers the game has. And it's somewhere in the region of 700,000. Not great for a brand new, meant to be, the be-all and end-all, brand spanking MMORPG. Not good at all, especially when you have the amazing license of the Elder Scrolls behind you, because the Elder Scrolls games are unbelievable bollocks. Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, I think it's Daggerfall, and Arena are the five of the Elder Scrolls. There are more Elder Scrolls games before all the freaking nerd buckets come in and go, no, but they are the five of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elder Scrolls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there are other interjections in various places, but yes, that's kind of like the way it's been progressing thus far. So Elder Scrolls, massive franchise title, Skyrim selling like there's no tomorrow, hotcakes, and yet 700,000 subscribers for Elder Scrolls Online. Why has it got 700,000 subscribers? It is a subpar game as you're ever going to get. Buggy. It was terribly constructed, dull, unimaginative in a lot of places. I enjoyed quite a lot of the stories involved. I didn't quite like some of the stories involved, but all in all, there was nothing there that was ever going to keep me. Nothing there that was ever going to keep me, especially when the game was breaking every 2 minutes. It was abysmal. And then, of course, Captain fucking Idiot... from ZeniMax Online said, oh, it's going to release bug-free. What an absolute fucking tool. Seriously, I mean, I know people go, oh, leave devs alone. But seriously, you want to make a ridiculous statement like that about a brand new MMORPG and you reckon it's going to release bug-free, and then it releases and it's the buggiest piece of crap that you've played in your life. Oh, the guy wants fucking slapping across the face with a wet fish. No! Slapping across the face with a copy of Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, that's the ultimate insult. But nevertheless, it is 700,000 people. And then we have WildStar, where we simply do not know the subscription numbers at all. We can't even speculate on the subscription numbers at the moment, but things seem to be okay. But one thing that Elder Scrolls are doing, one thing that all these games have in common, although they're relatively new, I think Final Fantasy's just turned a year old, the Realm Reborn version. Elder Scrolls Online is coming up April, wasn't it? April, May, June, July, 4 months old. WildStar is only a couple of months old, if that. But one thing that these games are already doing is supporting with content. Final Fantasy XIV has supported the balls out of A Realm Reborn with content. ESO is already coming up to its like 4th content patch coming up soon. So, you know, you can't knock them for that. WildStar has already produced content. Patches. Additional content for WildStar. And like I said, that game's only, a month, two months, 6 weeks old. Not very much at all. And this, of course, is where the World of Warcraft has completely fallen on its ass. And this is the big reason why people are simply unsubscribing. It's not because they hate WoW. It's not because they hate the developers. It's not because they hate Draenor or Mr. Pandaria per se, although I fucking hate the pandas. What they're leaving, the vast majority of these people will be leaving because they have nothing to play. Nothing to play at all. It is now 11 months, over 11 months, since we had any new content for the World of Warcraft. The last time that we had new content for WoW, I believe, if I got my date a little bit wrong, forgive, but I think it was the 10th of September 2013 was the release of patch 5.4. I think. It could have been the 13th, it might have been 15th. But between the 10th and the 15th of September last year was patch 5.4. Since then, nothing. That's not good enough. Simply not good enough. And you deserve every loss in sub number that you get because of it. You can't go the kind of length of distance that World of Warcraft goes now without producing new content. And the worst thing about it is people get savvy. You know, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. And Blizzard are always saying, we want to reduce. We are committed, I think is the quote. We are committed to reducing the gap from the final patch, content patch, to the brand new expansion. And they never do. And I called it the boy that cried wolf syndrome. You know, you say that so many times, people just stop believing you. You know, so it doesn't matter. Oh, come back. We'll come back to Warlords of Draenor. We'll stick loads of content patches. People just like, yeah, nah. We've heard it all before, Blizz. We've heard it all before. Yeah, you'll give us 2 or 3 or 4 quickies throughout the first year, and then you'll fucking do nothing. You'll do nothing for the next year. You know, people are getting savvy to that now. That's why the numbers are dropping off so much. Nothing to play, and typical Blizzard. You know, saying that we'll support, and they don't. Patch 5.5 vanished, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And it's, you know, and people just go, you know, it makes me laugh when people go, yeah, but you know, poor Blizzard. Oh, you know, they're only a tiny little company. Right, but just give you a couple of numbers. Mr. Pandaria started with 150 employees working purely on Mr. Pandaria. There are now 220. WoW employees, Blizzard employees working on World of Warcraft. 220 people. And you're telling me, out of those 220 people, there isn't a section of those people that you can segregate and just purely make content. You know, purely make little patches here and there. Give us little bits and bobs of things to do. Doesn't really matter too much what that content is. Could be Hallian Mark II. But just give people something to do. Give people something to log on and say, ooh, I've got something new to do. Ooh, that's going to drop another piece of gear which I could do with. You know, you've got to give them something. You can't go a year without any content whatsoever. So, of course, tomorrow we find out the release date for Warlords of Draenor, and we have to be a little bit honest here. And the simple crux of the matter is, it ain't coming out on Friday. And it ain't coming out this coming Tuesday. You know, although we're going to get the official release date, do not get excited that it's going to be anytime soon. I would be amazed if it is. The reason why I would be amazed is the beta. Now, don't get me wrong, this is absolutely not me in any way, shape or form ragging on Blizzard. Beta's beta. This is the reason why we have beta testing, because we look at all the bugs and then we look at how to fix them. We look at the content and we give our feedback on the content. Is it good? Is it crap? Does it need changing? Does it need tweaking? We look at the dungeons, we look at the scenarios, we look at the endgame content, we look at the leveling content, we look at the raiding, we look at everything involved in the expansion when we beta test. So far, we haven't been able to test a lot. There hasn't been a single scenario available for testing. So are we going to get scenarios, or have they been removed, or have they been integrated into the questing system? Because there are scenarios, single-player scenarios, when we level up. I'm a personal believer that scenarios should be single-player. They shouldn't be three-player. They should always be single-player. And I've really enjoyed the way that they have integrated scenarios into the leveling up process. And that's not going to be a difficult thing for them to integrate into level 100 endgame content either. As we have seen by things like the assault on your garrison. I did it when I streamed this morning. I did a couple of assaults. My garrison was under attack, and it played itself out in the form of a single player scenario, and there's about 140 of us in the stream at its peak, and it was really good fun, and we had a gay old time. So scenarios are a great way to be used in that respect. We have had the dungeons, but there's only 8 of them. There's not many dungeons at all in the World of Warcraft, which is a shame, because the dungeons that I have played have been very good indeed. But if that's all the content we're going to get dungeon-wise, then we have to suck it up. All the raid testing hasn't been done. We've only been raid testing on heroic difficulty, so there's still LFR, there's still normal, and there's still mythic testing to do. And there's still a lot more of heroic to test. I still think there's plenty of bosses there excuse me, to have a crack at. We haven't tested out any of the raid bosses. Sorry, the world bosses, do beg your pardon. There's 3 world bosses, plus a 4th special one. I'm trying to do a video on it, but sometimes it appears, sometimes it vanishes. Hopefully I'll be able to catch it, and I'll do a video on that for you. So put it this way, there is still plenty of stuff left to test. There's plenty of endgame content that's not available, and there is lots of broken stuff. Garrisons is very buggy, breaks in a lot of places. A lot of quests are bugged, break in a lot of places. Flight paths bugged, breaking in a lot of places. So all these kind of things have to be ironed out and have to be retested and retested and retested to make sure that things are tickety-boo. So, based just purely on that sort of level of how the beta's going so far, what level it's in at the moment, and we are on the 13th of August today, with the announcement coming tomorrow on the 14th of August. Right, people expecting this game to get a September release date. I think you're living in Fantasyland. I am officially I'm going to do an X. There you go, in my calendar. September, never going to happen. No. Some people are saying September the 30th. They go, oh, September 30th. I'm telling you now, September the 30th is the release date. If they announce September the 30th as the release date for Warlords of Draenor, I think I'm going to cancel my pre-orders. My pre-purchases on both. No, seriously. I think I'm going to cancel my pre-order. You can take my level 100 characters away, mate. You can take them away. I'll take my money back. Because I do not think that the game is going to be ready in 6 weeks. I really, really do not think that at all. Not with all the testing that's still to do. Not with all the stuff which is currently bugged and broken. Yes, they are producing new builds. And like I said, this isn't a rag on Blizz. This is just beta testing process. Yes, they are producing new builds pretty regularly at the rate of maybe 1 a week. 1 every 10 days. But yeah, September, it just ain't going to happen, folks. It really isn't going to happen. And if they do announce it for September, Dreamworld, that game is not going to come out working. I promise you, it will not come out working. So then we have to look at October. Now this to me is what I want to call the wild card month, okay? Because although I don't think it will be ready for October, I have a feeling in my vagina that this could actually be the month that the game comes out. And the reason why I have that feeling is because we have the 10th anniversary coming up towards the end of November. We have the 10th anniversary, and Blizzard have touted top level content for this. Molten Core is going to be souped up. The 40-person raid instance is going to be souped up to top level. We don't know if that's level 100. We don't know if that's level 90. But obviously, if Warlords of Draenor is released before the 10th anniversary celebrations, it will be level 100. You go into Molten Core, they're going to soup it up to an LFR 40-person. 40-person LFR, oh my god. You might as well have Britney Spears as the first person in the raid singing Toxic to everybody, because it's going to be nightmare. Thankfully, it's only here for a short period of time. But you complete that, you get yourself the Core Hound mount, which is beautiful. So I absolutely 100% want to participate that, even if I have to turn off my instance chat so I don't have to deal with anybody at all. So that is kind of, I think, at the 10th anniversary celebrations, the Warlords of Draenor is going to be active. I do. Whether it's ready and working and all that kind of stuff, meh. But I think that Warlords of Draenor will be active for the 10th year anniversary. At first I didn't think it was going to be the case, but now the more I think about it, the more I think it's true. So October is, in my eyes, the wildcard month, because it could come out roughly around the 21st of October, 28th of October, and it would still give people the opportunity to level to max level 100, and then still have a week or two of playing the 10th year anniversary celebratory whatevers. Yeah? South Shore versus Tarren Mill Battleground, Molten Core souped up to level 68,000, and all that kind of stuff. So 21st of October to the 28th of October is a possibility. But this is my prediction. My prediction is going to be November the 4th. November the 4th. Tuesday, November the 4th, because it's always coming out on a Tuesday. Tuesday, November the 4th. At the very latest, Tuesday, November the 11th. But I think Tuesday, November the 4th will be the announced date. That is my prediction, with the wildcard dates of being 21st or 28th of October. Simple reason being, I think they'd want to have a couple of weeks before the 10th anniversary celebrations, 2 or 3 weeks before the 10th anniversary celebrations, to allow people to get to level 100. Then they get to do Molten Core and all that stuff at level 100. These celebrations are probably going to last a week or two going into December. It might even last a month. We never know. It could lead all the way through to the end of September or whatever. But that is what I think the master plan might be. But again, I'll just harken on about it. I still have a gut feeling they may decide to go for the October one instead. But yeah, we're going to find out tomorrow. So, as ever, folks, your predictions. Your prediction, what date is Warlords of Draenor going to be released on? Stick it down in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and twitch.tv/HeelvsBabyface for live Warlords of Draenor streaming. And I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. Ooh, look at this interesting cutscene. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.